Hello my friend and welcome back. My name is Hannah and today I have 3 red eyeshadow looks for Valentine's Day. It's coming up and I thought I would do like a little bit of a series for this because I thought of so many different Valentine's Day themed makeup looks and I just thought, you know what, maybe let's organize this in a way. So today's video will be reds, tomorrow's video should be pinks, and then the following day, the third video, it's going to be more sultry, so it's not necessarily like color leaning, it's just kind of romantic kind of looks that you can do for Valentine's Day or any other day that you want it to be, you know, festive with colors. But that being said, if you want to see how I do this look and my 2 other looks, please continue watching and I will start look number 1 right now. Okay, so for look number 1, it's going to be a fairly simple red look. I'm only really reaching into 2 to 3 shades. The third shade is optional. You do not have to have an inner corner highlight, but I'm going to try my best to incorporate one. You do not have to use the same palette that I'm using. If you have shades that are of a similar family, by all means, go for that. If you have like a dupe or whatever. I don't believe that the BH Cherry on Top palettes are available anymore. I know that you can find them on like from resellers on like Mercari and Poshmark. I think for like a fairly like decent price. I think it's still like the $9 it was when I originally bought this. But again, I'm just going to show you the shades that I will be reaching into. I'm going to be using these 2 matte reds, and I'm going to try to use this lighter pink as an inner corner highlight. What else? I've already done my base off of camera, so I did my skin tint, my bronzer, my brows, and I put my primer on, so we're all good to go. What else? Last thing, I am planning my outfits sort of with these looks. So since today's look is fairly simple, kind of more casual, I went for a more casual kind of fit. If you can't tell, I'm wearing my, maybe you can't see him, but I have like an embroidered ditto on this shirt and it's just like a purple t-shirt. You can wear any kind of purple shade if you'd like. The new Pokemon game just came out and I've been really enjoying it, and I'm waiting for Ditto because I think he's the cutest. I think the Ditto merchandise series is like the best thing Pokemon has ever released, but I digress. So let's zoom in and start this look. Okay, now that we're zoomed in, I'm going to go in with this shade Tart, and I'm going to use this one as my base shade. So for this, I'm going to apply it to my lid. I'm going to tap it in. And I'm going to kind of blend it out. I want it to go a little bit like beyond my crease, but not too intense. So I'm going in with the shade Tart, and I'm using that as like a base shade first. I'm going in with the Sigma E40, and I'm just kind of placing the shade where I want my shape to be. Okay, now that I have the shape blended out, I am going to go in with this. Oh, this just says BH1. I'm using like a flat brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Sprinkles, which is more of like a deep red. And I'm going to pack that on my lid, but only on the lid. So if you have a brush that you really like for packing, I would suggest using that. I just like this particular brush for packing on product. I like to use this brush in particular for packing on items. Like I love it with my shimmers, but it just the way like it's dense, but it's still flimsy enough that makes it very easy to pick up product and place product. And you very much could stop here if this is as intense as you want it to be. But I want to go a little bit more intense with the shade. So I'm going to go back into the Tart shape, and I'm going to go in with a Sigma E25 Max, which is another flat brush. But I'm going to place that Tart shape right on top. So then this gives some like depth to the shade that I'm using, but I'm still just kind of keeping it more monochromatic. And it's going to be a very bold red eye. And you can build, again, you can build the shade to the intensity that you want. But I'm really going for red. So now I look like Shishomru. And then I'm gonna take another flat brush. Which one is this? This is the Sigma E54 medium. I just like it because it's like a stiffer little flat brush, and to get in my lower lash line, it's perfect. So again, I'm gonna go in with Tarte, and I'm just gonna sweep that under my eye. And it's up to you how far you want to take this. You can have a likely makeup kind of moment and you're doing a full kind of clown look. Or you can keep it a bit more conservative and tight lined. I have some like fine lines right here under my eye, but that's usually like once I meet that point, that's kind of as far as I ever take my eyeshadow anyway. And then I'm going to go into sprinkles, and I'm going to just stamp that right where like my eyeball, like my iris is. I was going to say my eyeball. My whole eyeball is hopefully in my eye socket. But taking sprinkles and just stamping it right in the center, just to give a little bit of pop of color. And then I'm going to go back in to Tarte and just stamp it out. I'm gonna go in with Sunday, which is one of my favorite kind of like lighter pinks. And I'm gonna use that as an inner corner highlight. And to kind of soften these lines on the outside, I am gonna meet it directly under my eyebrow because I did blow out this shape. But I like this lighter pink with this Tarte shade because I think they blend really well together. And because this is already more like a pinky red kind of palette, using a lighter pink to blend, the colors just look like watercolor. There we go. What I am going to do is do I want to go in with a pink? Do I want to go in with a brown? I'm going to go in with a pink in my lower waterline and then a brown in the upper waterline because I want to have more of like an open eye kind of thing, but keep my lashes very dramatic. So I'm going to poke around in my eye off camera, do my other eye, and I should be back with eyeliner and lashes. Give me 2 seconds. So this is with the liner in the lid and the lashes on. You do not have to wear lashes. I was actually gonna wear my Iconics and then I didn't clean them. So I'm gonna be wearing these ones instead. But for a look like this, I like a more like kind of fluffier kind of lash, like a fluffy, dramatic kind of lash, like my Iconics. But if you do not want to wear lashes, you do not have to. I also lined my lips off camera because we both know I can't line my lips and talk at the same time, and we don't want dead air. So because I already have such an intense red eye, I kind of want to keep within the red family, but also leaning a bit neutral. So you'll see what I mean by that. I'm going to go in with this blush stick from ColourPop in the shade Winona Forever. And this is one of my favorite blush sticks of all time. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to apply it higher up to have a higher blush. If you've been watching my channel, you know I like to kind of keep my blush here, but I've been loving a high blush lately. And then I'm going to go in with this kind of like, this is the Real Techniques 405. It's just a slanted kind of like denser brush. I love this for creams, and I'm just going to pat and blend this blush out. And it doesn't have to be too clean because as long as I work the product out, I can kind of soften lines with my sponge. See, it's almost like not really noticeable, but it's there. It's enough to kind of really make my cheekbones like, you know, like a skeleton, but then my eyes look really intense. So right now, all of your attention is drawing straight to my eyes, which I want because if I'm doing such an intense eye look, I want you to be looking at it. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with, do I want to highlight? Sure, why not? I'm gonna go in with my favorite highlight, the Nomad one, and where's my brush? This one. It's the Nomad Balmoral Beach. I think I want to get the like trio with like the bronzer and this like highlight, and I think it comes with like another highlight, maybe a blush. This is my favorite highlight of all time. And I'm just gonna swipe it right where my cheekbones are, little skeleton. I'm using my viewfinder because the light is hitting my face in a way where I can see it a lot better there than I can in my mirror in front of me. My mirror is just a little bit too low. And then I'm going to take a little bit just right here. You don't have to use highlight, but here I am. Can't resist. But this is more of like my perfect kind of nude highlight, so it's not too distracting. Again, if you want to go in all pink and red, by all means put all the color on your face. I just want an intense, bold red eye. And then I'm going to go in with the, what is the shade? Talker. This is one of the newer blotted lips that I picked up. Okay, and I just found out today that ColourPop is releasing like a gloss version of this called like the Glowy Lip. They want my money. They really do. And I chose this shade because it's like a nudie pink. So it still complements the eye look. It still complements my lips, you know. It's not too intense. It's not taking away from my eye look. I think it's really pretty. Wow. Very, very cute shade. This Talker shade is like my lip, but better, very cute. Okay, let's undo my hair and zoom out and let's talk about this look. So this is the final look and I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I haven't reached into this BH palette in a while, so I was kind of hesitant that I would get the exact eye look that I was envisioning in my head, but safe to say, I remember this palette fondly. The Prince Zuko video really scarred me from ever picking up this palette again. So that being said, let's move on to the next look. Okay, so for today's look, I am going into the Natasha Denona Love palette. Why was I drawing a blank? Okay, so now that my primer's on, I am going to be going into the Natasha Denona Love palette. Like I said in the previous video, you do not have to use this exact eyeshadow palette. You can use similar tones. I think this kind of color scheme for Valentine's Day palette is very common. I just love the Natasha Denona formula, so I really enjoy these shadows. But we're going to start with, I'll take this brush. I'm going to go in with a Sigma E44, and I'm going to take the shade Trust. Yes, that's the shade I'm going to take. And I'm going to just pop it into the inner corner of my eye, like so. I think I've said this a number of times on my channel, but I really love red and purple together. I think those colors always play really well together. And I'm not doing anything too precise with my shape. I'm just kind of popping the shade in and kind of blending it out to build some dimension. I'll take the shape Heart because that matches my jacket. This one is like the more intense red. And I'm gonna look at my eye because I'm just gonna pop this shade right into the socket of my eye, or like right into the curve of my eye. And kind of blend that shape out. I'm going in with a Nabla N301. It's a like flat brush, but it's a little bit dense, so you can kind of build that shade. And kind of just following the shape of my eye, I'm going to sweep that color around and just soften those lines. Again, the Natasha Denona palette, like the formula anyway, you can use one shade to kind of create an entire look, because the amount of blending and layering, like one shade can do a lot. And I'm not going to have the red and purple quite touch. I'm just going to leave it open while blending out these lines. And then I'm going to take the shade Pure Love. It's one of the shimmer shades in this palette. I think ColourPop has like a similar Super Shock to this. And right where I have like my naked lid is where I'm going to place this and blend it out. And right where I have like that space in between where they're not connected, kind of like, what is it called, a halo eye, I'm just gonna take a little bit of this shimmer and kind of meet those lines together. So it's not really bringing the lines in, but I'm putting a shade there to kind of close it in. I'll go in with Dream and just see what happens. So I'm taking the shade Dream on like a flat brush just to line my under eye. My lip is busted open. I'm going to, I don't know what eyeliner I'm gonna put in my waterline. Maybe I'll go with brown. We'll see. We'll see, and we'll see what lashes I put on next. And this is the final look. What did I do? I put on my Iconics. I don't have them glued down per se, because if I'm being honest, I'm gonna take off these lashes, make my dinner, and wash my face and then go to bed. But I do like when you have like bolder lashes with such intense color. Of course, you don't have to. You don't have to. That's just what I like personally. It's giving me very, like, I don't want to say Euphoria or Bridgerton, because I finally looked up those makeup looks. It's just really fun. I did take that red more and just kind of really work it into the like crevice right here and then like the socket, and just really made it pop. I think that shimmer is the perfect one to use in between this red and this purple, and I just think it's so pretty. I'm gonna zoom out and kind of give you a brief look at the kind of outfit I'm wearing, and then take down my hair. Although you can keep it up like this if you want, because I know I'm gonna tie it back up to make my dinner, but for my intro, I at least want to look like I put some thought and effort into it. So give me 2 seconds. I really need to trim my bangs. I mean, like, this side looks really awesome, but this side makes me cry. This side, beautiful, anime. This side, a disaster. Okay, so I'm wearing just some blue jeans right now, and I don't really want to like flash anyone, but I am wearing like just where did I get this bodysuit from? I think I got it from Urban Outfitters, I believe so. So it's just this I believe I got this bodysuit from Urban Outfitters. It's just like a bathing suit kind of looking thing, but I like kind of the low cut and the cleavage. It's very nice, and I'm wearing it with blue hygiene pants, you know, very cute. And then I'm wearing it with a red corduroy jacket. This is like my Misato from Evangelion jacket. It doesn't have any Evangelion on it. It's just I saw it on Depop and I wanted to be Misato. So this look is brought to you by Misato from Evangelion. But I would definitely wear this any time of the year, regardless if it was Valentine's Day or not. And I think that's the fun part about seasonal makeup, because it's not really seasonal. You can wear it whenever. So that being said, I am going to pop us off into look number 3. Let's go. So now we're going to start look 3. I've already done my base off of camera and my lip. I wish I had Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadows, because then I can make this look like a full face of Charlotte Tilbury. Well, I guess I would also need a foundation, but I am using the Nudegasm and the Walk of No Shame lipstick. I'm using the thinner one. What are these ones called? The Kissing Lips, I think. But it is the shade Walk of No Shame. It's my favorite red, the only red in my collection, because it's a more brown leaning red and it's flattering. So I don't know what's going on right here with my face. Like there's some texture that's like being kicked up and like dryness under here. It's probably because I didn't go in with a primer. I thought I was bold enough that I could go in without a primer, but here we are. So that being said, today's look should be fairly simple. You can see where I still have glue on my eye. Don't mind me. Gross. What was I saying? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with this NYX Epic Wear eyeliner stick in the shade Deepest Brown. And I think today's look is gonna be fairly simple just because I feel like I did a very intense look for the first one. The second one was kind of like a pop of color. This one, I think, I don't know, I wanted to do like 3 different levels of red eyeshadow. But for this one, we're going to do kind of like the, what are they called? The fox eye, where it's just like the winged liner. So to start this look, you're gonna need a brown eyeliner. Again, it doesn't matter what you use. You can use whatever shade of brown, whatever brown eyeliner that you want to use. I'm gonna go in with this NYX Epic Wear in the shade Deepest Brown. It's my favorite brown eyeliner, and I guess as well as the Jeffree Star one that I just got. But I want to use this one because I like more of like a pencil. This one is easier to blend than that Jeffree Star one. The Jeffree Star one is better if you want to do like a waterline or have like a tight line on your lid. It's not so much like, can't really blend it in as well. So for this one, we're going to do just a little bit of like a cat shape. But for me, because I have a bit of a hooded eye, I kind of have to look at my eye straight on and see where those lines touch. And I'm just gonna flick out. Okay. And then I'm also gonna trace the inside, like, again, because I have hooded eyes, I have to be careful when doing any kind of like graphic liner, especially where my crease is. So I always go just a little bit above my crease, so I don't have to worry about any fading. Wow, this concealer is really not having it. What is going on with my face? You know what? It's been like super cold in my area, and I know there's like a huge snowstorm on the other side of my country right now, but I'm feeling it over here. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just trace and do like a more upwards motion. Yes, that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna take a pencil brush and I'm just gonna blur out that line as well as this one. Hopefully I was quick enough to blend this one. So I wasn't quite fast enough to blend on this side, but that's okay, because I need to add a little bit more anyway. And I can do a little bit of like a winged moment right now. Just a little bit. Okay. And then we're going back in with that pencil brush and we're just blending in. So as we're blending in, we're blurring that line, you know, this like winged line, but we're still pulling some color onto the inside. Perfect. I think that's a sweet little base to have. And then I'm gonna go in, I'm using the Club Nebula palette. This palette is no longer available, but you can use similar shades. I'm gonna start with the shade You're My Only Hope. It's kind of like this pink white kind of shift. And I'm just putting that in my inner corner, right in the front. And I'm meeting it to where that line that I first drew was. Just taking it to the inner corner and pulling it out. So using another pencil brush, I am going to go into the shade Red Giant, which is like this beautiful matte red. I wouldn't say that the, oh, but I guess the red cherry palette also isn't available. If you had the red cherry palette and not the Club Nebula palette, I wouldn't say that the deep red in that one is a dupe, but it is like a similar kind of deep red matte kind of moment. I'm trying to think of maybe another shadow or another palette that would have a shade like that. I just know when I need a red shade like that, I reach for my Club Nebula, and then I remember I have the cherry on top. But now that I have it on this pencil brush, I'm just gonna trace over that line, that cat eye line that I originally did. But I'm gonna pull it out a little bit further. And we're gonna flick it in, and we're gonna try and take that red as far across as we can on the waterline. I forget that I can't really put here the mattes over the shimmer, but we'll try. That's user error, sorry. And then I'm gonna just take a little bit of that red, and as well as where that first line is, I'm gonna trace it. There we go. A little pop of red in there. And then I'm gonna take that same red in my waterline, or excuse me, my lower lid. Now that I'm looking at it, I think I didn't mean to use You're My Only Hope. I think I meant to use Celestial because it's pink. So this is what I'm going to do. On this eye, I'm going to use a Celestial shade, but I'm going to do this eye off of camera, and I will be right back. So this is the final look. I did the same brown NYX eyeliner in my waterline. I did the Come Hell or High Water mascara. I didn't do any false lashes because I'm pretty sure I'm having an allergic reaction to the House of Lashes latex free lashes that you can't find anymore anyway. So I also want to make a correction. I did use a different shade on this side. I did go in with the Celestial on this side. That's the one I meant to go in with because that one is more pink based. The You're My Only Hope is definitely more like silvery purple. I mean, I guess you can kind of do both, but this one's more like of the Valentine's Day that I was going for. This one's more like, hello, I am from Cyberpunk. But either way, if you do not have the Club Nebula palette, but you like the Celestial shade that I'm using on my inner corner, I did compare it to the Kaleidos Gifted highlight, and I think you could use that one as well. Did I mention that in my last look? I feel like I've talked about that highlighter a lot. Maybe I'll use it in my next video. So let's zoom out and let's give you some final thoughts of the 3 looks that I did. So before I close out the video as well, I also chose this more like a mesh kind of top, like it's a mesh one piece, and then I'm wearing a black cardigan on top. I got this cardigan from For Love of Lemons. It's my favorite black little knit cardigan. So let's talk about these red looks. I feel like red eyeshadow has come a long way in its time because I feel like it's a little bit more accessible than it was in the past. There are so many different Valentine's Day themed palettes. A lot of them are pinks and purples because then you can carry it over into spring. I really love the Natasha Denona Love palette, but that one is discontinued, but she just came out with the Mini Crush, and the Mini Love are still available. I think the Mini Crush is more red leaning, where the Mini Love is more pink leaning. But this was really fun. I never really reach for red all too often, really. Like, it's always just kind of like an accent color. It's never the main color focus of my look, but this is pretty fun. Since today's video was all red looks, tomorrow's video will be all pink looks, but the way that these videos are set up is that you can kind of swap in the shades as you want. Like, if you wanted to do this look but for spring and not have it be a Valentine's Day thing, you could very easily do that. You could do this with like a mustard, green and yellow kind of combo. I think that would be pretty cool. The first look that I did with a very bold color, you can do that with any pastel like shades that you might have. I really love to do it with purple. That's why I thought to do it with the red one. But in tomorrow's video, it will be different. It won't be the same looks. Like, I'm not going to be using these same looks and then just swapping the colors. I will have new pink looks, But the whole point of this video is to just give you some inspiration and for me to play with my collection. And I don't know, let me know, what shades would you use instead? Like, how would you maybe review or critique my looks? I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.